Star Wars Untitled, it's still untitled at this point, Untitled Han Solo film loses its directors, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller directed 21 and 22 Jump Street, the Lego and the Lego Movie, in addition to Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs as well. They directed that, and they served as producers for the Lego Batman movie, in addition to the upcoming Lego Ninjago movie. They left the project, and the president of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, issued a statement. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are talented filmmakers who have assembled an incredible cast and crew, but it's become clear that we had different creative visions on this film, and we've decided to part ways. A new director will be announced soon. This is happening far too often and far too prolifically. I mean, you had
in the movie world?
In the movie world,
okay.
Yes. You had it with Edgar Wright and Ant-Man. You had Tim Miller leaving Deadpool 2, which was big. You had Rick Famuyiwa, who left The Flash, which was the Warner Brothers DC TV show. You had Michelle McLaren leave Wonder Woman. You know, and Patty Jenkins, who was, I believe, supposed to do Thor 2 at one point as well. You are having this happen far too often. And when I read creative differences or different creative visions as the reason that actors or directors were dismissed on a project, that tells me the directors and the people behind it wanted to do something different. The studio wanted to do something ordinary or something more conventional. Especially when you got Lord and Miller behind it, that's what it screams to me.
This is happening from those examples you set forth. This is happening too much to say that, the directors are being too argumentative, and they're the reason why they left. This is happening too many times.
This isn't one or two people.
Yeah. This is happening too many times where this really feels like the studios stepping in, overstepping their boundaries. But honestly, they're funding the whole thing, so maybe they're not. But it's kind of to the point where they're stepping on too many directors' toes, to the point where they're leaving. Now, what did Lord and I'm sorry, what were their names? Lord and Miller?
Well, yeah. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller.
What's their rap sheet? What's their resume here?
Like I said, they've done, what's their rap sheet just in general, filmography-wise?
Sure.
Yeah, Lego Movie, 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street. They've produced a lot of other films, too. They've produced the one movie Storks that came out as well. They've done a lot of animated work, too. Igor, which I don't know if you remember too much about that. I think they had some credit on that, too. They're doing the Lego Movie sequel, and then they got another Men in Black movie that they're producing as well. They're writing the Lego Movie sequel, and they're producing a Men in Black. So they're active. I hope that this doesn't really hurt their career, because if they're walking out the film is already shooting, this Han Solo film. It's got 3 weeks left. They're walking out this late. That doesn't give you a good name in Hollywood, especially you're already on the oust of Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm. That's not good. But the other thing is like we were going back to the big point. I think this is studios overstepping too, or studios trying to interfere with the creative process. Look at the examples I just batted off. You have Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, who are proven successes with the 21 and 22 Jump Street franchise, in addition to the Lego Movie franchise. You have that, okay? And now you coming off of Star Wars The Force Awakens and Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, 2 massive hits that are now spawning a new generation of Star Wars films. You had Tim Miller leave Deadpool 2 after Deadpool was a smashing success. You had the director Famuyiwa of The Flash leave just as these movies were taking off, or just as these shows were taking off on like Netflix and DC's TV shows along with Marvel's were taking off. You had Michelle McLaren leave Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman, of course, we knew had a ton of potential, especially with Marvel. What you're getting now is you're getting studios becoming very touchy-feely now with these big money properties, as they should be to a degree, but now it seems like they're very much intervening with the creative process. I'm not saying that this is what it is. This is what it seems like, though, in my opinion.
It's a strong argument. That's a really good rap sheet for Lord Plummer, or Miller and Plummer, because
Lord and Miller.
I'm getting their names mixed up. But a Han Solo film to begin with, I'm not really that jazzed about. Neither
am I.
It's like spoiler alert at this point for Episode 7, Han Solo. Spoiler alert, he dies in that movie, and
everybody who's seen it has seen it.
And by that time, it's like, this is kind of that's the sunset for the Han Solo character. Why do we need a whole movie to go back on his
when
origin?
he was younger, played by Alden Ehrenreich, who is admittedly good and rules don't apply. But it's the same thing with it's the same thing. People kind of got on my case about not liking Rogue One, and I think if I was
but those are original characters.
But if I was a bigger Star Wars fan, maybe I would have liked Rogue One. But you know what? I don't see why we need a movie like Rogue One. I mean, of course, money. I know the answer is money, of course. But you know what? I don't see why we need a Rogue One movie. I don't see why we need a Han Solo movie. I don't see why we need Star Wars spinoffs. Why can't we just have episodes 7, 8, and 9? And maybe 10. Why, you know what I mean? Why do we have to keep going backwards? Or why do we have to keep diving into now we're making more prequels. You know what I mean? And I don't like that to begin with, but I felt comfortable knowing that Lord and Miller were the ones behind this, because these two guys, very creative, very good writers too, very good writers, even though that they've written a handful of stuff, they've produced, the bulk of their work is producing, but they have written quite a bit as well. So, I mean, these guys are great writers, and they're very good directors, too. They know how to have a hold on things, too, and they have an excellent rap sheet. So, this is a blow. This is a crushing blow, I would argue, for the Han Solo movie.
3 weeks left to shoot. That's a good chunk of time would you say? I don't know. I'm not.
They've been shooting since February. February in London.
So it's safe to say maybe, 90%, 80% of the movie's done?
Maybe, yeah. I was going to say they're good. They're probably going to need to do reshoots. This is
the second Star Wars movie.
That's it.
Under Disney. That has needed a reshoot.
Rogue One needed extensive reshoots. But Rogue One also didn't lose its director either. You know what I mean? So they brought in, it was Gareth Edwards who directed it, and then they brought in another guy, I'm blanking on his name, Tony Gilroy. They brought him in to rewrite some scenes and oversee a variety of reshoots that they had planned.
You see, this doesn't make sense to me, because Disney already has the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's been going relatively fine. You had Ant-Man, right? You had Edgar Wright leave Ant-Man, but besides that, it's been a fairly stable, going movie universe.
Absolutely.
Why are they stumbling all of a sudden with Star Wars movies? 2 out of the 3 Star Wars movies that's come out, they've had extensive reshoots, or the director is leaving. What is going on here? Marvel should know the playbook by now.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit nervous with Deadpool too, with Tim Miller leaving, with Tim Miller departing and everything. 2 fingers up for him too as well. You know what I mean? Where it's unfortunate too, because it's like these people that really were there taking a big risk. Because here's the other thing too with Tim, with that applies to Tim Miller. Not so much Star Wars is like a guaranteed hit to begin with, at the box office. Where Tim Miller with Deadpool was not always a guaranteed hit in the writing stages. Nobody knew if this movie was going to really hit or not. Nobody really knew if it was going to catch like it did. And Tim Miller, if let's say on the off chance, let's say in a parallel universe or something, Deadpool bombed, Tim Miller wouldn't direct again. Tim Miller might get a movie on a smaller scale. He wouldn't get a $100 million superhero movie again. He wouldn't even get a chance to do any other movie even reminiscent of that. Look what happened to Tim's Story. After both Fantastic Four movies underperformed. He would not get another chance. And now that they got this massive success, Deadpool on their hands, the studios get picky, choosy, I can believe it. And then Miller's like, you know what? I'm out. This is more trouble than it's worth. I got my checks from Deadpool 2. You can go on ahead with Deadpool 2. Good luck with you. You got Ryan Reynolds.
It's weird because Tim Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy. He's set to do all 3 of those movies.
James Gunn.
James Gunn. I don't know who Tim Gunn is. James Gunn has already done 2 out of the 3 and is going to do the 3rd Guardians movie. So
Indeed.
It's like, where is this instability coming from? Is it just a clash of egos behind the scenes that we don't know about?
That's what I think.
Maybe James Gunn can just take that crap more than the rest. Is Deadpool under Disney or is that under Fox?
Deadpool is under Fox, I believe.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I'll double check really quick. I'll fact check myself over here. I don't want to get wrong. Yes, it is 20th Century Fox.
So again, I always have to come back to it. We live in an age of juggernaut universes and juggernaut franchises, unlike any we've ever seen before. So directors, they have to realize what they're signing up for, right? This isn't Moonlight.
No.
This isn't even La La Land. Honestly,
No.
This is the highest of the highest tier. This is the Targets. I was almost going to say Walmart, but Walmart is kind of a low quality. But these are the kind of the Targets of the universes. These ain't no small mom and dad mom and pop shops anymore. This is the big leagues.
It is.
This is global chains. You know what I'm talking about?
It absolutely is.
So this is high. This is high risk for a career, believe it or not.
Oh no, it is
for directors. Even though you think it's gonna be, I'm gonna do $100 million movie, $500 million movie. I don't know, but it's like this is gonna be set up my whole career for life. No, look at something Peyton, who did the new Fantastic Four, and that just bombed horribly.
The director of the new Fantastic Four movie?
Yeah.
Josh Trank.
Is that his name?
Josh
Oh,
Trank.
just kidding. Okay, Josh Trank. See, that
Going really well with names today.
I know, right? that just completely bombed his career, essentially, because that just did so horribly.
He'll rebound. I think I think he'll rebound a little bit better. You know what's going to happen is he's done. I think Trank isn't going to get like many big budget studio movies anymore too, which is unfortunate too, because I'd argue that a lot of Fantastic Four's problems. I think that movie, a lot like Suicide Squad, I think that was butchered in post. I think that was butchered in post. I think they shot, planned, wrote, and structured a better movie than what was on the screen. And I felt the same way about Suicide Squad. You know what I mean? Even though I defend Suicide Squad more than a lot of people. You know what I mean? I think that was a better movie that was conceptualized and even shot better than the one that was eventually released. But I hope Lord and Miller can rebound from this, because I think this isn't good for their career. I mean, even if they were just like trying to do something experimental and the studio was having none of it, you're leaving a project that's this giant, that's coming out in less than a year. It's coming out May 25th, 2018, coming out Memorial Day weekend, and they leave 3 weeks before the end of shooting. I don't care if they were fired, dismissed, they walked off the set. I don't care what it was. This is a hard thing. This is a hard thing for a career. I don't care how established you are.